What's up, guys? So my project was based on problems on campus with drugs and alcohol. So the main points of my project is I'm going to discuss social validation, maintaining self-image, and social learning theory. I'm going to incorporate these psychological theories into how I feel drugs and alcohol can play a role in students' lives. Um, Also, I'm going to include the person's situation, um, being that the wrong situation can change someone as well as make them uncomfortable. So, college is a time where we want to explore and we want to drink. It's before adulthood. It's like the last chance of freedom. We get to experience everything before we have the duties of adulthood. Um, this one article I read, or this one journal article I read from Vasari. He said college is a window of vulnerability um, because of the freedom and the choices that we have to make. Um, so like, I feel like the problem, one of the problems on campus is that we all want to be liked and we all want to be accepted, especially going into college. We If you have friends going into college with you, you're really lucky. Most of the times, we don't even have friends, so we try to make new friends. In order to make new friends, we have to be liked, because we're really lonely. So the problem is that to impress people or to be liked, we tend to go through go to great distances and go to great lengths just to be liked, just to create self images. Um, and one way we do this is social validation. We look at others and we ask it like, is it okay? Um, so if I go to a dorm, if I'm in my dorm and then my dorm, my roommate has someone come over and they start drinking or they start doing drugs in my dorm, and they ask me to do it. They're like, oh, here, Jordan, take some. I'm gonna look around and I'm gonna be like, is this okay? I'm gonna look at others. I'm underage, but they're also underage and they're doing it. You know, uh, that person is over 21 and they're giving me alcohol. So it must not be that bad because they don't really feel bad doing it. So after I look around and I see that it's okay, I'm gonna start doing it, or I'll be more likely to take it. And at this point, since I'm lonely and I'm trying to make friends, I'm more leaning towards the side that I'm gonna take it because I want to be liked and I want to be accepted. Um, so there's at this point there's two routes that we could take, right? There's the route that we could do it and we could become one of them, like accepted, or we could deny it, and be like the outcast and do our own thing. And most of the time we're gonna want to be like I said, we're gonna want to be liked, so we're gonna take it. Um, this one article I read, Akil in 2009 said, when we're unsure about what we do, we look at others to guide us, and we do this unconsciously. Um, so that was a great. I felt like that was a great quote or a great part that he said in his article about social validation. Um, like once we show others that we're willing to do this, the problem with that is that now we have to keep and maintain that self image consistency. Um, so, for example, if I'm gonna take a drink, and I don't usually drink, and people are like, "Hey, Jordan, you drink? Yeah, good for you. You're one of us." So now I gotta keep that consistency. I gotta keep showing them that I am part of them. I do drink. So I gotta keep doing it. Unfortunately, um, and this leads to bad habits. You know, so I'll start to drink, and maybe that might take over my life. I'm not used to coping with it. I'm not used to how to deal with it. So this might take over my life, and I develop real bad habits, get bad grades. Um, the dissonance theory. Feeling uncomfortable leads to the depression cycle. So because I'm drinking and my morals and my values are not to not be a drinker, when I do drink it, I feel weird in me. I feel wrong. I feel like this is something I don't want to be doing. So I feel weird. I don't really know what's wrong, and then this leads into the depression cycle. So now I become depressed because I'm drinking or doing drugs, right? And then because I'm depressed, I take drugs and I take alcohol and I drink alcohol, and then I do it and then I become depressed. So it's like this endless cycle and this endless loop, and it could be very dangerous. given that the limited resources that colleges have. I'll get into that as we get on. Um, so is it our fault or is it their fault that we get caught up in this mess? We can't really blame anyone, right? We can't really blame anyone for wanting to be liked, for wanting to be accepted. So surely there's other routes, right? But there's not a lot of options on campus. I feel like not a lot of options for people to go out and go fit in with places that they do feel comfortable. Um, so, for example, people that go out and drink, they can't go out and drink, so they bring the drinks to the dorm. And the people that are introverted and don't want to drink, they don't really have any place to go late at night or wherever the case is, whatever the time of the day. So they stay in there and they're exposed to it. So all this unnecessary exposure can bring to unnecessary habits. So I feel like there's unnecessary exposure to the situations. So one problem is like social learning theory. So we watch ones that we're close to and how they cope with college stress. So college is very stressful. So if I'm close to my roommate because I made friends with them and I see how they cope with stress, right? And they may drink or they may do drugs. Now I'm gonna see that and I'm gonna be like, that they're dealing with it and they look like they're fine. So maybe I should try it out too. And so I might be tempted or I'd be more willing to take it. Um, just like the monkeys or the chimpanzees or whatever that they saw other chimpanzees grab the banana off the top, they stacked the boxes up and then they climbed up and they got it. It's the same thing, right? Social learning theory. When stress increases, we watch others who they closely interact with, and when they use drugs and alcohol to cope with stressors, we may join into. And that was from one of the articles I read, Pritchard, 2011. So my intervention is pretty simple, but basically it's have a student activity center in the dorm area. I feel like it should be one in the main area where all students can access it really easy and they don't have to walk really far to it, or maybe one small one in each dorm. Um, this area fits different personalities. Introverted area has like a game room, maybe table games like pool, table tennis, whatever. Video games, movie showings, maybe like a separate room with like movies that they show. Station to bring your computers and game consoles, and even a reading center, like maybe like a little bit like a library, or maybe just a place that you can sit down and chill and read, maybe sip on a Starbucks or something. Just something nice and relaxing. Um, and the point of this is to diffuse some of the exposure, like I said before, the unnecessary exposure brought onto people. This gives students a place to go that meet their own personality. So if I'm a person that's introverted and likes to play video games, I have a place to go and play video games with other people. If I'm a person that likes to read, more introverted and like to read, I can go to this place and read. If a person that I like to go on my computer, I can bring my computer, or just even a lounge that they can just hang out in. So that was one of the interventions. Also for like extroverted people, I feel like campus should have like a student dance room, club. I don't want to say club because club has a really bad stigma to it. I don't know why. Just like a dance room or a social room as a DJ, music, 18 plus. Half the side that's 18 and or not 18 and under, but the side that's 21 and under is on one side, and 21 and over is on the other side. And then there's like a lounge bar, nice seats, furniture. Like one side could be a club scene, the other side could be like a lounge scene. A real chill vibe. Maybe like a bar almost. You can go grab drinks, sip on drinks. Maybe a TV, ESPN on it. Just something showing. Something chill, something real chill. Um, I would not suggest saying no drinking in dorms, and this is why. Because when we say don't drink, or when we tell someone to don't do something, it's more likely that they will do it because of their free will being jeopardized. So instead of telling them not to drink, give them a place to go. Give people that are introverted places to go too. Um, You know what I mean? So now you're enabling them to drink, but you're enabling them to drink in places that best fits their personality as well. I'll also say we have a rehab and counseling center um, that sends them like checkup texts, you know, and it's not going to be easy, but we have many psychologists, many counselors there, and just a little checkup here and there to everyone, a text, that says like, hey, blah blah blah, like their name, like how are you doing? If you're okay, if you have any questions, contact us, please. Just to show them reinforcement that someone is listening, someone does care. Um, and this could be broadcasted like through campus online through flyers, or like even on like say La Lima, for example. Just like showing that there is help here, especially for people that maybe got into this bad habit and want to get out. They have someplace to go now. And now I feel like these interventions will work because a couple theories. One theory would be in the person's situation. Um, Student situation is highly defined by their peers. That's a really simple one. Personality traits determine behavior, but what a person does depends critically on the situation. So I mean, if a person's uncomfortable, you know what I mean, then they're uncomfortable. If they're in a place where if they're not a drinker and they're brought to a place, or someone brings alcohol to the place and starts drinking, you know, their behavior could change based on the situation at hand. However, if we move that situation, we move the people around. Now we put an introverted person in an introverted environment, an extroverted person in an extroverted environment. Now it fits their personalities, and there's no clash going on. Um, you know, so the presence of others can affect how we feel, think, and behave. So just like I said, the presence of others. What if there's an attractive person on the that enters the dorm room, and you want to impress them? You'll be more willing to do things outside of the box to impress them. Um, so people have a very strong influence on us. Now, by giving them these two options, they have somewhere to go that fits their personality, and it gives them a place to go to behave appropriately depending on their goals, their morals, and their beliefs. Um, so I feel like that would be a really good idea, just for the person's situation to be. Also, others students see other students drinking, and it leads to descriptive norms. So now these students think like, this is what students normally do in college. This is what they should be doing. They normally drink, and that's not something we really want. So by giving them this opportunity to get out, just like I said, it just reduces unnecessary exposure. Another theory I feel that would work is because it's social validity. Students will hear and see and be told about this spot, and they're more likely to bring their friends along. They find themselves in places where they feel comfortable, which will lead them to come back. So now, if I'm an extroverted person, I'm going to the student dance center or whatever. I'm telling my friends who are also extroverted because they hang around with me. I'm like, hey, let's go to this dance center. Let's go cruise. Let's go have some fun. And no, they're gonna come with us because it's okay that we're going, and they're gonna call their friends, and their friends are gonna go because it's okay that we're going, and vice versa for the introverted center. They're gonna I'm gonna go there and hang out, and I'll meet other friends who are also introverted over there. And it's okay to go there, and students will start seeing that it's okay. It's meant for that. So this reduces bad habits and unnecessary habits. Shows others that there's other routes and there's other things to do. So social validity is another one. And we could assess this whole experiment, by a survey, a simple survey asking questions. How's the facilities going? How's the facilities? How have you been going? How often do you go? What do we need to improve? Does this help the situation? Like, does it give you a route to go somewhere? Like, do you feel comfortable in it? Do we need to change anything? Um, or we could just basically, if they're going to go into the student center, we just tell them scan their IDs. Scan their IDs. That would be a really simple way to see how much people are going in, and if people are improving or more people are coming in, then we know people are taking advantage of the facilities. Um, or we could do the old-fashioned way, a sign-in sheet. Um, yeah. So also for the rehab center too, it's the same thing, right? For the rehab center, we can have a student ID login, or just a survey, just something to see and make sure like everything's going all right. Um, like, so the whole point of this is is to diffuse, like I said many times, is to diffuse the situation and diffuse the exposure to unnecessary habits. And it's impossible to stop all the bad habits from forming. It's impossible to say like everyone that doesn't want to drink shouldn't drink, and we're gonna stop all of that. It's almost inevitable. Um, but giving them other routes and giving them options to choose from to go around, I feel like it's a strong start for us. Um, yeah. So the whole again recap the whole situation. I feel like there should be two separate activity centers. One for the more extroverted people, one for the introverted people, and this just gives them an opportunity to go fit their personalities and not get caught into something they don't want to do. Um, Again, it's to diffuse the situation and don't necessarily ban alcohol on campus, but give them places to go instead of bottling them up in one area. Um, but that's my presentation, and thank you for listening. Good luck on you guys' exams.